Hello everyone, it's Natasha from Treasure Books. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make a Turkish fold pop-up book. So basically this is what it is. We are using a very simple fold called the Turkish fold or the Turkish map fold. And we are creating something really interesting and different to what we usually do. So I will demonstrate both with 6x6 paper and 12x12, which is what this is. And once you learn the fold, which is really quite simple, I have the step-by-step instructions here. You can take it many different directions. So for example, here I have used it on a tag, so it can be a little secret journaling spot. So from what I know, this Turkish map fold was traditionally used to fold maps. But the fun thing is we can take it so many different ways and just have lots of fun with it. So I am going to make this one on screen. I'll demonstrate first how to do the fold. As usual, I will put these instructions side by side at the end of the video so you can write them down or you can take a screenshot. All right, let's get started. First we'll do a 6x6 and then we'll do a 12x12 directional paper. So you have to fold a certain way in order for your map to open correctly, to the right way. So you can see here, this is directional paper. This bird is facing a certain way and I don't want to open my project and have this sitting like this. Let's start with the 6x6 and I don't really care which way it's going to sit when I open it. So I'm just going to start folding. All right, first of all, we need a square piece of paper. The size doesn't matter. It can be anything as long as it's a square. So I'm going to turn it the wrong way. This is my correct side. I'll turn it the wrong way and fold it in half, just like this. And I want all of my creases to be nice and crisp, especially if you're using a thicker paper, very important. And now that that's folded, the correct side is visible. This is what I mean. All right, so we're opening the fold that we've just made and turning the paper over to the correct side. And now we're going to fold diagonal from one side to the other. And just creasing that down. And you might notice, things are not meeting perfectly. One side meets perfectly, the other doesn't, which means that this paper is not a true square piece of paper. Those things don't bother me. They don't affect the project. Or if they do, I will show you how to fix it. All right, so now that we've done one side, now we're going to do the opposite side. So we unfold and then fold along the other diagonal. Okay, so for the step number 6, we're going to unfold and I'm turning the paper over. And now you notice that the center is popping up a little. You see that? It's kind of 3D and the center is popping up. I don't want it down, I want it up. And now for step number 7, we're pushing from both sides. So let me just show you here. See how you have a crease here and a crease here? It's kind of already showing you where you need to push. So you push from those two sides and you end up with this triangle, just like that. And I'm just going to crease everything nicely down. And you can see here things are sticking out. It doesn't matter. I can always fix that. I can always trim it after I'm done. All right. Let's move on to step number 8. So now what we're doing is these sides need to be folded to the center. So the way that I do it, you can actually see where the center is because these two things meet here. So I'm just going to fold it to there. See how they're meeting? So that's how I know that that's the center. And we really want to make these creases really crisp. And I'm going to do the same for for the other 3 sides. Okay, turning it over, and now I'll do this one here, and now I'll do this one here. And this is what I have. So now we're up to number 10 and we're unfolding all of the corners. And now we want to fold all of those corners in. So just like that, open it up, fold it in. So the crisper that crease, the easier for you to fold it in. And here we go. Now you see this shape. Okay, that's there. And if you turn it to this side, that's the shape. And there is the finished result. That's it. It's really, really simple. All right, so we will come back to this. I'm going to show you the 12 by 12 and then we'll come back to this. So see this here sticking out, that's fine. It really is no big deal. You can always trim it down. There we go. All right, so here's my 12 by 12 piece of paper and I want my fold, once it opens up, I want it to be this way. I don't want it to be upside down or whatever. So the way that I'm going to do that is when I'm making my first fold, step number 1, I want to make sure that that fold is running vertically like this, not horizontally. So it has to be vertical. So I'm going to turn it over and fold this way. Okay, so here we go. We have the vertical line running down my paper rather than this way. All right, so for step number 2, we want to open the fold that we just made and turn the paper over to the correct side. Okay, so this is the correct side. And now we are folding the diagonals. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure that my sides are meeting nicely, because even if there is a little bit of, what would you call it, overhang, like this here, you still want to be as precise as possible. So I'm making that really crisp. So that diagonal is down. Now I'm going to open up my piece of paper and I'm going the other way. So we've got running here and now we're going this way. And here we go. So for step number 6, we unfold the piece of paper and turn the paper over, and now the center is popping up. That's what we want. See these 2 creases? Those 2 are the sides that I'm going to push in. So it's already creased for me. And I'm pushing in from both sides for step number 7, and I have my triangle here. And now I'm folding these corners into the center. So I'm just going to look over here, aligning the bottom part and fold. And I'll do the same on the other side. Forgot to change this, so that's step number 8. And now I'm going over here and over here. Okay, step number 10 is to unfold all corners just like that. And now we are folding the corners in. So I open up and fold that corner in, and I do the same for all 4 corners. And here we go. See how it opens up to the correct side. The paper is facing the correct way, I mean. So when you're gluing it in, you glue this way. The 2 large flat sides are, the sides that are going to be glued in. Okay, so now that you know how to make the actual fold, you can take this many different ways. You can use your creativity and imagination and come up with projects. There's plenty of things that you can do with this and directions you can take it. I'll show you what I've done with mine. So let's start with this one here. Basically what I did is I have 3 folds. So I made 3 folds with 12 by 12 paper. So what I did is I used this cardstock for my covers. So I just basically folded it in half and glued in my fold into there. And as you can see over here, I did that for all 3 of my folds. So each fold has its own cover. That's just the way that I did it. And then I decorated the front, and I think it's fun. So I just glued the covers then together. You can see there, the covers are glued together. For this one here, I did the exact same thing, only using smaller covers and using 6 by 6 paper. And my initial idea, this actually comes out, my initial idea was to have some tags in there, but space in there is quite snug, so I just put this in there. And it looks quite cool. So I decided to do 3. You can do more. You can do 6. You can, instead of having the covers in between, you can glue them together rather than having the covers in between. And it can be like a one continuous round book. Here's one that I did on this tag. I'll just show you this. You can see here, that's the shape. And then that opens up for journaling. So all I did, as you can see, is folded it down to make it into an envelope shape. And I just glued this little butterfly there to hold it shut. And that's it. So some secret sort of journaling space in there. Looks quite cool. And here's a little sneak peek. I'm going to show you this in my next video. So another way that you can use these is they can just be glued in onto the side of your journal page, just like that. And then open up like that in your journal for some extra journaling space, or even here at the top. It's just another interest that we can add to a journal, and you can embellish that. I don't have anything on hand apart from this butterfly and these pieces of paper, so you know, you can embellish it and I don't know, make it a beautiful interest in your journal. Okay, so for these two examples that I've shown you, I have 3 folds, and each fold is glued into its own cover. So that way when I open the page lies flat. Whereas if I glued them to each other and put it into one cover, they wouldn't be able to be opened up individually. But I'm not entirely sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it to this one. I'm going to glue the 2 together and give them one cover. And that will be my project for today. And I'll see how that looks. So first I want to see if I'm happy with the size of this cover. I think I can, there's quite a lot of space in there. So I think I can trim it down a little bit. Such an easy fold, and then we can do so many different things with it. So I like to try, you know, something that I haven't done before. So I might maybe have some pretty corners over here. And the first thing I'm going to do is glue these 2 together. So this paper is directional. I want to make sure it's going the right way. And they are exactly the same size. So I'm just gluing the 2 together. I'll just use a little bit of glue stick and then glue it with the stronger glue, because I want to make sure that they really stay together. This is the strong glue that's going to hold them together. But then I also have the glue stick in all the spaces where this glue isn't covering. So, you know, that's my reasoning. Alright, so now I glued them together. And you know, if you make more, you can just keep going. It will be fun. Alright, so I've just got the 2 in there, and now I'm going to glue it into my cover. Just want to see how it's going to look when I open my cover. I think it will look actually better if I had 3 in there, so I'm going to make another one. Alright, here we go. I think that would look more fun if I have 3 in there. What would happen if I have 4 in there? Let's see. First I'm going to see if I can actually close. Oh, they're popping open, but after a little while when they're sitting flat, they're going to sit flat. They're not going to keep popping open. So let's see, this cover, could I fit 4 in there? I don't know. There's only one way to find out. I'm just going to glue these 2 onto these 2. Alright, here we go. I have 4 folded together. And it's quite fun. So now what I'm going to do is glue it into this cover. If I knew I was doing 4, I would have maybe given this cover a little bit of a spine, but I'm just going to go ahead and finish this project. So I'm just going to leave it as it is. And now what we're doing, we're gluing this side to that side and then this side to that side. Alright, that's looking good. And now we're gluing this to that, pulling that in place. And here we go. It's an interest book, so in terms of functionality as a journal, it's not, you know, overly functional, but I think it's a fun project. So I'm just going to finish decorating this cover here. So once I leave this under something heavy, it won't be springing up like this. So it just needs to, you know, those creases need to be worked in. But first I want to decorate the cover, and I think I'm actually going to add a closure to it. So I'm just going to use whatever I have nearby. I don't want to kind of overthink it too much, just to give it a little bit of an interest. Just have some offcuts on my table and see if I can use them up. I really don't want to, you know, spend too much time doing this. You know, when you're looking for that perfect piece of paper, and then you spend all this time looking for that perfect piece of paper. That's what I'm trying to avoid, but Seems like I'm looking for the perfect piece of paper. Now I need some sort of a central piece on here. Maybe I'll use my faux stamp stickers. This one's from Which Craft Do You Do? Yeah, I'm gonna go with this. It's a sticker, but still I need to apply some glue. There we go. Now I'm just gonna glue each piece. Usually I would sew, but today I'm just going to use my glue for everything. Here we go. I like it. And now I also want to add a little closure, just showing you again how it looks. Really interesting and a lot less complicated than it actually looks. And here we go. Final little booklet. Really quite fun, as in what you can do with this fold. You can take it many different ways. I really enjoyed actually coming up with all of the different things that I can use. I think it appeals to me more to make an individual little projects rather than to have just the one little piece of a folded piece in a journal. But that's still an idea as well. So what do you guys think about this project? Please let me know in the comments down below. There's many different variations of this type of a fold. And I think it's just so much fun coming up with different ways to use it in our what we do in junk journaling. Okay, now I'm going to put these instructions side by side. All right, here you go. You can take a screenshot or copy them down, but I think once you make the fold a few times, it will be second nature. You won't need the instructions. Please let me know what you guys think. If you have used this fold before, if you're planning to, if you have some interesting ideas for a different kind of a project. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!